I'm really fed up with evil Angelina Ballerina. Uh, she's been messing with the brain to brain communication, so everything that I've been hearing is wrong. So I just totally ignore my brain to brain now. For the past couple days, I've been trying to figure out what's going on just using logic and circumstantial evidence. And it's obvious from the little bit of communication that I've had with Zach Knight, there is a court case or court cases, plural, going on. And Angelina's obviously behind them. It's obvious she's still in power. I can tell that. This is what I know is true. I know there are court cases going on. I know Angelina Ballerina's still in power. I know the sky is still pink, and that I get these weird symptoms like itchy rectum, itchy vagina. She's dropping at least 20 yeast bombs over my town every day, probably more than that. When I go out for a walk, it's like a war zone. All I can say, folks, if I'm crazy and if Angelina Ballerina is just some little innocent little cartoon mouse character, why is my sky always pink? And it's only been that way since she came to power. Pink is her trademark color, by the way. Uh, she even made a video using some hard rock group that she was behind about pink. Um, why is it that only in the past couple months, when I go out for a drive or I go out to walk, it's like I'm in a war zone? It's like somebody kicked a red ant pile of Jesuits, and all the Jesuits are these red ants. They're scurrying and going all over the place. It's like, I mean, today when I went for my walk, just crossing the simple matter of crossing a street in a small city town like I live in, it was like I was in Tokyo, Japan or something, and everybody was going and like I'd step out on the road and there would be 5 cars pulling out onto the road, all headed in my direction. You say, oh, that is a coincidence? You're trying to tell me that Angelina's not behind that? Oh, come on, folks. How stupid do you think I am? You know, the only way I could be convinced that I'm not crazy and that stuff I'm telling you is a delusion, well, it's not a delusion when I walk out the door and I bump into 3 or 4 people in my apartment complex who just all happen to be going in my direction. And then when I try to cross the street, 5 or 6 cars come out of nowhere and they all want to hit me. I mean, you say, oh, that's a coincidence. Yeah, 50 coincidences in one day. I go to the laundry room and somebody's already got their clothes in the dryer, the only dryer that works. And I deliberately do my laundry on days when most people don't do the laundry. You know, that happened yesterday. So I ended up having to walk to the, um, you know, and the sky's always pink. Pink is not a normal color for the sky, folks. Come on. Don't be a dumbbell your whole life. And then, 1991. A voice called me up on the phone. It had the exact match to Brent Spiner in Old Yellow Eyes' back. It was Brent Spiner. Exact match to his voice, to his personality, and Old Yellow Eyes' back. I figured out who the identity of my mystery caller was when my friend Melody Rondeau sent me a copy of Brent's new music album, Old Yellow Eyes' back. I listened to that voice now and I thought, oh my God, that man has been calling me and asking to come. Saying he wants to rape me and kiss my nipples and everything. That was Brent Spiner. You might say, oh, I don't believe he called you a nobody fan. Well, he did. That's why it took me so long to figure it out, because I never dreamed that a star would fall in love with a woman who writes him through his fan mail. But hey, folks, it happened. I heard the voice. He asked if he could come over. When I figured him out, I wrote him a letter just to test it out. I said, you're the one who's calling me on the phone and saying all those things to me. But he was a gentleman, though. He was sensual, but he was a gentleman. I was a very, very devout Christian at the time, so I had to turn him down. It was very hard for me. When I figured out who it was, and when I realized that he made Old Yellow Eyes' back for me, I said, you made that album for me. I can tell when I listen to it. There are songs on there like, kiss me once, kiss. It's been a long, long time. There's one song, the songs on there talk about a man who's longing for a woman who's not with him. Oh, that's a coincidence. Yeah, it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Yeah, everything's a coincidence. The pink skies are a coincidence. It's a coincidence that his voice was an exact match to Brent Spiner. It's a coincidence that when I wrote him at his fan mail and told him that, oh, I figured out it's Brent, that the phone rang off the hook, and then he asked if he could come over. And he was so disappointed when I said, I'm sorry, but it would be wrong. And he said, why not? It's a coincidence that some crazy lunatic woman, who I think was Laurie McBride, after Brent made love to me on the phone, after he gave me about 2 weeks of silence, this crazy woman called me on the phone midnight in July 1993, and she said, "Hey, bitch, what the fuck are you doing with my boyfriend?" I said, that was Laurie McBride. I found out later that she had him tied up in his basement, and she was starving him, hoping to give him brain control drugs so she could make love to him. That's the only way she could get sex with him at the time. Some relationship you got with Brent Spiner, Laurie McBride. You can't get him to willingly make love to you unless you drug him out or put him under brain control, kind of like what inferior Angelina Ballerina has to do to get a lover. Hey, Angelina, are you so insecure about your looks that you have to use brain control to get a man to make love to you? Why don't you just let them come to you of their own free will? Why do you have to make them your slaves to get them to come? You're very insecure. Did you know that, Angelina Ballerina? She knows she's not going to get these guys unless she uses her demonic brain control. She knows that. She knows that that's the only way she can get them. But she's so evil. She doesn't care how she has. She's obviously a sex addict, and she just wants sex. And she knows it's evil, and she doesn't care about commitment. She just likes to have sex, and it just thrills her to death when she can get a man to have an erection over her and she can blow him up. Oh, she's done that a lot. Let me tell you something. I heard Laurie McBride's voice on the phone. She and the Jesuits set fires around my mobile home in 1998. So I figured out, I knew I had Brent in my life. And because I had Brent in my life, that's how I ended up getting Vladimir Putin in my life, because he had connections, and because he was famous and he had connections. And that's how all these other people came in, like Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, and all the rest. So the only way you could say I'm crazy is, first of all, you'd have to prove that in 1991, Brent did not call me. Now, I could have tried to get a wiretap on him and stuff back then, but I was trying to protect him, so I didn't. I had no doubt that it was him. I've never had doubts that it was him. And the only people who have doubts are Jesuits, and they don't really have doubts. They know they're lying. In fact, I believe that most people don't believe I'm crazy. But the reason it seems that way is because the Jesuits are obsessed with me, just like when I go outside, it's a war zone, and everybody and their cousin and their uncle and their friend are all after me. You say, oh, it's paranoid. It's paranoid when I step out onto the road and 5 cars come out of nowhere in my direction. Yeah, that's paranoid. I'm delusional. I'm imagining things. And I see pink skies. That's an unusual color for the sky. Come on, folks. Are you trying to get me to deny my senses? Okay. Let's just get off the subject of whether I'm crazy, because anybody who's sane and who has an IQ of 10 can tell that I don't. Or if you say that I'm crazy, you're just lying. You don't believe it. You're just saying it because you are an Angelina Ballerina Jesuit. And you're evil, and you're helping her out to promote all her lies. Angelina knows that these men on my marriage list love me. She knows she's so inferior and so evil in her heart that nobody would truly love her. The only way she can get a man in lust with her is she's got to put brain control on them, okay? I look at her picture and I look at her eyes. I've never seen such an evil gleam in anybody's eyes. She makes the Antichrist Zach Knight look like the Virgin Mary or a saint. She's so evil. So all I can say is I made a playlist of music because I thought that maybe in our attempts to cage her, I thought maybe we had her caged. We obviously do not have her caged. She's still ruling the world the best she can. And believe me, she's doing a pretty good job. The skies are pink. I've had like weird infections. My rectum was itching so bad I tried soaking in the tub one night, and I still take she's trying to get me to disobey the Gail commandments. Oh, it's a coincidence that every bad thing that's happening to me is designed to make me disobey the Gail commandments. Like I almost lost my health insurance, so I couldn't afford Seroquel. That is a coincidence, right? And I found out it was because they got some incorrect, lying information about me. I wonder who did that. Oh, I mean, how did that happen? Okay, it's a coincidence that that she just happens to know everything I like to buy at the store, you know? Or just a coincidence that it's harder for me to get laundry quarters now. Yeah, that it's funny how all the problems seem related to obeying the Gail commandments. Well, she knows that if I don't obey the Gail commandments, that my Gail shield's going to go down, and then she thinks she can take me out, or she can take me over. So it's just a coincidence that all the things that are happening to me are designed to make it harder for me to obey the Gail commandments. So I'm delusional. It's just a coincidence, right? It's just a coincidence that she's trying to make it hard for me to do my laundry, to vacuum. She broke my vacuum cleaner. It's just a coincidence that she attacked my car. She knows I need my car to get food and Seroquel. It's just a coincidence that everything just started breaking, like my microwave, all in the past 3 months. Oh, that's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence that when I go out for a walk, everybody and their Jesuit buddy, and I can tell they're Jesuits. Jesuits have a certain look about them, and they're kind of obsessed with me. It's just a coincidence that everybody with perfect timing bumps into me. What else is there? It's just a coincidence that that even though I'm pretty almost destitute as it is, she's attacking my finances to try to make it so that I can't lay aside some money like Jesus wants me to do. Okay. It's just a coincidence that, my computer's been attacked too. I've been getting all sorts of weird viruses and malware. Oh, that's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. Yeah, right. How stupid do you think everybody is, Angelina Ballerina? The only way they're going to believe I'm crazy and that all this stuff, that Brent Spiner's not in my life, and that I don't have a marriage list of men who want to marry me, in which you are determined to seduce with your inferior brain control, because you're such an inferior person, you can't get anybody unless you put them under brain control. Are you so ugly that nobody would want you unless you have them brain controlled to death? Okay, I'm making an update to my living will, folks, okay? If that bitch, Angelina Ballerina, ever gets me, like if she manages to get my Gail shield down and I become her hostage or I become her sex slave, Jesus told me that when she attacked my town, he said if he didn't come to rescue me, that she would have seduced me and got me to make love to her, and I would have loved it. That's what Jesus said. So this is what I want to say. If that bitch ever gets me, and I'm going to do my best to obey the Gail commandments, and she holds me hostage, making you unable to neutralize her unless you could kill me, I would rather you kill me and take me out so we can get that evil woman out of commission than keep me alive. That's an update to my living will. I'm saying it orally here. Okay? I just want to let you know that. I despise that evil bitch because of she's spreading her evil and ugliness to this planet. She is the worst thing that's ever happened to planet Earth in all of its existence. And if I say or do anything to help that bitch out, I want you to kill me. If I ever make love to her, please take me out. Even if she has me under her brain control, I would rather be dead than make love to that bitch. The only way she could get me to make love to her is she'd have to have me under. That's the update to my living will, okay? So she ends up holding me hostage and saying, you can't take me out unless you kill Gail. Just kill me and take her out. Take her out. I don't care what you have to do. That woman needs to go. Out of commission. Take her out. Whatever you have to do, take the bitch out.